Well, welcome to an extraordinary visit and continuing series for the winemakers here at Wine of the Month Club. Because yesterday we were graced with the presence of sixth generation Champagne House, and this is Cyril
Bonnet
from
Bonnet-Ponson.
Bonnet-Ponson, and that's, you can tell I'm working on my French accent. I am studying French right now.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
but it's not easy.
It's a tricky language.
And you want it right? You got to say it right.
Yeah, we insist on the accent.
Exactly.
It has to be precise.
And I'm born in Southern California. I don't have that accent, but
You can maybe get it.
my father speaks French,
Okay.
and he so I have to call him now every day. He told me, and,
In French?
and talk to him in French. Speak to him in French, and I'm going to do that because
Yeah, that's the best way to learn.
it's right. That's the only way, right?
I think.
So yesterday, part of this my tasting day, Cyril came by. I'd say it wrong, of course, and I tasted these gorgeous champagnes. And I wanted to just talk about it. He came kind enough to come back and talk to us on camera about the history of the family and about the vineyards and what's going on in Champagne, France. And then we're going to taste through the wine. So tell me about the sixth generation. How did this start?
So our story started with the grandfather of my grandfather,
Wow.
which was called Jules Bonnet. And so the date of the beginning is 1862,
Wow.
when he was crafting his first bottle. And so since then we were always doing our champagne independently, like grower champagne, so récoltant, manipulant, making all the wine by ourselves with our own grapes from 3 villages.
So in the beginning, it was just the farmer? Or
He was a small farmer. He also used to grow other things to
Wow.
eat. Also, he was not only a wine grower. Everybody was doing wine growing, but also growing other kind of food.
Fruits?
And,
What would be another fruit in Champagne? I know apples are in Normandy. Is there anything famous in there besides grapes?
fruit, well, you can have some prune.
Prunes, really? Wow,
Prunes.
pears.
You can have
Maybe
some
not
pear,
plums. Yeah, that's great.
pear and apple, but he was growing mainly potatoes and
Really, that's so
in the
interesting.
ground. So.
And are you just in the same village now, or you guys?
Yes, yeah, we are still in the same village, and we still use our cellar still contain a little part of the very old cellar
Well, that's
of
great.
my great grandfather, father.
And of course, you have a guest house for guys like me to come.
Yes,
course,
we do.
right.
We do. We are building a small hotel which will be open in July with
wow.
eight room with a nice view over the Chamriz village, and is wonderful.
Wow,
hotel.
that's
So,
exciting.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give you a chance to come back, right?
I hope you will.
So your experience then, you've been doing it since you were indoctrinated into it, your beginning as a child. When did you start?
I started really to work into the winery with my father 9 years ago, just after finishing my study.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, since I'm 10, 12 years old, I
Yeah.
have to come to help sometime
Of
in
course.
the wine.
It's
and
life in France, right?
Yes, life in is good also.
Right.
It's good to.
And so you studied at.
I studied in Reims, and I study enology. So I have an enologist diploma, but
Yes.
today I'm doing a winemaker, wine grower job.
The whole thing.
Yeah, the whole thing.
And then your father gets to retire, and he
I
just
think
tells you what to do.
Yeah, so he's still working with me for five more years, and we try to collaborate together.
Yes, right.
It's not always easy, but we manage
Right.
it. in the
I
end.
know that's like, right? You know, my dad, there's my dad in that picture. He constantly tells me about my wines that I send him and what's going on, and you
Yeah.
know, that's okay.
They always knew a little bit
Yeah,
more than us.
we enjoy it, so it's all right. So let's taste some of the wines. We're gonna taste the Brut first,
Yeah.
and this is what grapes are in this?
So in the Brut Premier Cru, you find three different grape variety, three main variety in Champagne: Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier. And the proportion is 1/3 of each in this cuvée.
And what is those three grapes we know are legitimate, legal grapes, so to speak? Are there other grapes that you can grow?
Yes, in Champagne you can also find 4 other variety, which is Pinot Gris, Pinot Grigio, Pinot
No,
Blanc.
you can't put Pinot Gris.
Yeah, you can.
Wow, that's interesting.
Arban and Petit Méliès, which are the traditional old variety. We have couple of plots, but mainly we grow the Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier.
Wow, this is so crisp and so how many months in the bottle?
So this champagne stay 4 years in the bottle.
Really?
4 years in the cellar,
And
resting.
they're riddled?
And they're riddled then, and disgorged at the house by our own means.
And so when you disgorge them, you freeze the neck.
Yeah, we use the
Remove.
freezing technique for the neck. So the bottle are put the head down, and for 10 minutes in a very, very cold solution. So a little ice cube is formed in the bottle and trap the sediment. So then after we can just pull up the bottle and open the cap, and the pressure.
Well, that's an amazing hand done, basically, right? You're doing
Yes,
it by hand.
it has to be
It has to be
processed
done, right.
by a man, of course. Yes.
That's unbelievable process, and why champagne does. Champagne for relative to other wines is expensive, but required for all celebrations, isn't that? Isn't that?
Yes, it's known as the wine of celebration.
So, are you guys making still wines there too? I mean, you have Chardonnay, you have Pinot Noir, you have Pinot Meunier.
We make a little bit of red wine, still wine, which is mostly used to blend in the Brut Rosé. We also have some little production. My grandfather, for instance, he always asks me to bottle him some still white wine because he likes to eat that with some oyster. Because
Wow, that's great.
champagne, we have great acidity also, so very crispy and fresh
Right.
white wine.
So when you, we know maybe this folks don't know, but when you pick champagne grapes, they tend to be underripe. The sugar content is
I would not say underripe. I would
just
say
perfect for champagne.
champagne ripe.
Yes.
which is about
Young.
10 potential degrees, between 10 and 11 potential.
Really? Wow.
It's not in bricks,
It's
but
not bricks.
that means if you fermentate all the sugar contained in the grapes, you will have a wine in the end which is between 10
I
and
see.
11%.
I see. Interesting. And so when you make the still wines from them, do you use those same grapes that are picked at the same time, or do you let them hang a little longer to get more alcohol out of the grapes?
We try to reach the perfect maturity, and we don't want to wait too long because acidity is very important in champagne
Sure,
too.
right.
And so there is a moment where each parcel has to be harvested. Each parcel is different, and that's why it's good to know which vine you grow, because you can pick them up the perfect moment.
And so
And so
when
get
we
the
talk
flavor.
about the different sub-districts of Champagne, Reims, Epernay, those places, are there geological differences, much like
Yeah.
Bordeaux, you would say that's gravelly soil, and Pauillac, and things like that? Or?
Of course, yes. All the Champagne has a chalk bedrock,
Yes.
very, very deep chalk bedrock. But in some places, like my places, we are in the Montagne de Reims, so the north side, this chalk bedrock is surrounded by different layers. So we have a different kind of sand, calcareous sand, but also
Really?
siliceous sand, and also some calcareous clay. And all these different type of soil bring us different kind of wine used for the blend of the champagne.
I've never used one of those.
Those are new.
That was obvious.
Those are new.
Yeah, you want to test that.
And so the Brut Rosé has a little less of Chardonnay, only 25%, 40% of Pinot Noir, which 10% are made in red wine,
Yes.
and 35% of Pinot Meunier.
And so the color is coming from, there's, obviously this looks more like a white wine, so the color is there more skin contact with the Pinot Noir in the Brut Rosé?
No, because this is a blended rosé. The color comes from the blending of a red wine that we make with the Pinot Noir from a specific parcel, and the other white wine made from traditional.
Gorgeous wines.
Yeah.
First time in America.
So that's the beginning.
We're just
yes.
bringing them.
First time.
Well, that's congratulations. That's
Yeah.
going to be exciting.
It's very exciting.
It's your first time here
It's my first time on the West Coast.
on the West Coast. All right.
So-
Well, we're a little different over here, So
Yeah, you have your little singularity here. It's interesting.
Well, we're so pleased to have you here and a chance to taste your wines on camera and show the folks. And I'm sure they'll love when they get to Champagne. They'll come visit you. But I definitely will be visiting you.
I hope you will.
It's been a pleasure talking with you on camera.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.